The following attraction is scheduled for one show with a 45-minute time limit.
If you're sleep deprived and you know it, clap your hands. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos, running on literally about 12 hours of sleep over the last 3 days. It's your boy Patrick, along with my best friends Brian and RJ. We're here to talk another 45 minutes to an hour-ish, whatever, of all the things wrestling related and our fun takes and fun memories and fun. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of flipping delirious tonight. I want to go to bed, but I also knew I couldn't postpone the show till tomorrow because family's got stuff we got to do tomorrow night. So I was like, nope, we got to do this tonight.
Yeah, and I probably
worry about it.
The
Lean Mean Wrestle Talking Machine is going to come through for you.
Anyway, moving right along. Gentlemen, how's you doing?
I'm spectacular. We have an AEW pay-per-view tomorrow.
Right.
Things are doing well. Things are looking up, as Jason Mraz is fond of singing, and I'm happy as ever to be talking wrestling with you guys this week. So let's get after it.
Well, so basically what he's saying, to quote a line from Coming to America, I am very happy to be here. Great movie. One of Eddie Murphy's best movies. Yeah. Well, quick little public service reminder. Wow, I don't know if you guys hear that echo or not, but I do.
I did hear that echo, yeah.
All right, let's back this brand new iPhone 11 Pro up. The following attraction is scheduled for one show, RJ.
One show.
With a 45-minute time limit that we're going to kick the ever-living crap out of this week. Why? Because there is no format written down. So there's no format written down, and there is no stopwatch on my side of the camera. So, yeah, you guys...
Formats are for wusses.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are screwed. Buckle up, sit down, and let's enjoy the ride.
23 seconds, by the way.
What? That's how much time
I got the stopwatch.
First off, let's go ahead and we always open the show each week, well, we try to sometimes, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's go ahead and get the suck part out of the way for this week. The wrestling world, unfortunately, lost Shad Gaspard, one half of Crime Time, former WWE tag team this week. Shad and his son were swimming out in the beach in Southern California. I'm not real sure what beach it was.
Venice Beach.
It was Venice Beach. Okay. And they got pulled down by an undercurrent. Shad managed to save his 10-year-old son, but he washed up on shore 3 days later. That sucks. He was 39. Thoughts and prayers, lots of prayers to his family. That sucks. I mean, Shad didn't have a very long career in WWE because he ended up being kind of a heat magnet backstage, but Crime Time was entertaining as crap. So before we get into anything else, good, bad, and the ugly, real quick, guys, let's play this positively. Favorite Crime Time memories?
I'll go first on that one. I like the angle that Cena was doing with JBL when Crime Time came out and started messing around with the limo with the big horns on it, started like spray painting stuff on it and breaking the windows and things like that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from all of the tributes that were coming out, apparently, he was still very tight with a lot of people, good worker. I don't know the heat that you're referring to because I never paid much attention to it. But for everybody to come out and react the way they did, he still must have been a pretty good worker, a good friend, good colleague, that kind of thing. So I was happy to see that.
Me as well. RJ, what about you?
it was honestly, my favorite Crime Time memory is probably every single time their entrance music started, because I just loved the beginning of their entrance music so much.
The whitest deep announcer voice in the world going, yo, 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 pop your 40s and check your rollies. It's crime time.
And then the money, yeah, money, yeah. One of my favorite money, yeahs was when they sold Raw tickets to Sean and Hunter. And Hunter was trying to talk all gangster, and it was very, very funny, very hilarious.
When it was Dad Joke DX and Crime Time, yeah. I gotta be honest. Dad Joke DX might be one of my favorite things ever because it was so dorky, but it was just hilarious. I was gonna say the same thing about their entrance. First off, their music was awesome. It was a banger, but the beginning of that was just like, the uber white boy in me really appreciated that, because I was like, that's just the greatest thing ever. That would be like Betty White doing one half of Natural Born Killers with Dre or something like that. If she's doing the Ice Cube part for Dre, that'd be like up there. But that, and also just the shenanigans they do in their vignettes. They were a comedy act, but they were also a really fluid tag team. Just kind of how they would start doing the money thing, and they would just get other people involved. And then you have Vince react, or a great one is they were still doing the who is Hornswoggle, who is Vince's illegitimate son angle. And Shad and JTG were like, it could be us. Look at the family resemblance. So they start doing that, and they start getting into the money part. And then you get Coach involved, and they're doing circles around Vince. And then Regal. It was the most asinine thing ever, but you can't help. It's one of those things in wrestling you cannot help but laugh.
Absolutely.
We've talked about on this show plenty of times. That's the good stuff.
And bell to bell, they weren't unbelievably spectacular workers, but they played the big man, little man tag team pairing perfectly.
Oh my God, yes. Because Shad was a wrecking machine. I mean, 6'9", 300 something. The only thing I think would have made Crime Time better is if JTG was like a legitimate high flyer.
Right.
Like, for example, you put Shad, kind of putting in like comparison, Shad and JTG, if you, it would have worked a lot better if it would have been someone currently like Braun and Ricochet.
Right.
You have that powerhouse, and then the just over the top, yeehaw flippy shit kind of guy. To paraphrase a Jim Cornette thing, or that might be I think that's a Jim Cornette thing. Whatever.
That sounds like a Jim Cornette thing.
Yeah, whatever. So, what other?
You guys swore that much on this show, all in a row like that.
Say what?
Like I said, I can't believe you guys just swore all in a row like that a whole bunch of times. Yeah. Jim Cornette is Satan.
Yes, he is.
He is one of the most hateful men on planet Earth. I cannot stand
it. Hey, I'll swear even more right now. Jim Cornette, Vince Russo.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, before this show gets off the rails and we lose all our sponsors.
Yeah.
I'll start off. I'll start off with my good. I think I liked Austin Theory aligning with Seth Rollins. I think that could be a good thing because he was already miscast with Zelina Vega's crew. it just makes a little more sense, and not for the reasons you all might think. It makes a little bit more sense to have him with Rollins and Murphy, because now whatever Rollins' agenda is, he's got two guys that he can send out there and help him accomplish his agenda. If his agenda is to go after Drew, then so be it. If his agenda is to go after, whatever championship he wants, then so be it.
Vince is a racist bastard. I'm about to say,
Anyway.
That's why Austin Theory got moved, because Zelina Vega and Andrade and Angel Garza.
I know.
Yeah, they all got something in common. And
they do.
Austin Theory's a white boy from Atlanta.
Anyway, good from you
Vince
two.
is a racist bastard.
I'll say my good this week I'm going to give to Jon Moxley and his performance post-match with the promo with him and Brody Lee. Well, it was really mostly him, where he beat 10, and then he put the chair on his arm, and he gave Brody Lee an ultimatum: you come out and bring me my property, bring him back to AEW Championship, or I'm going to break this man's arm. And Brody Lee came up on the thing and up on the screen and gave a big, eloquent response, the way that Brody Lee does. And at the end said, sometimes you got to sacrifice a member. We're leaving. And they left. And the camera goes back to Jon Moxley, who says, all right, see you Saturday. And then bashes the guy's arm with a chair. And it was hilarious, phenomenal. Jon Moxley played the entire thing perfectly. That's my good.
Nice. I have nothing else. My good was, in fact, the Austin Theory thing, and actually, no, one more thing. I would also like to throw in the number one. Karrion Kross's entrance on Wednesday was a lot better. Why? No lip syncing. And also the interaction and the promo Ciampa had standing in front of Kross was pretty damn good. Welcome to the main event.
Yeah.
Pulling the mic. My bad and my ugly are the passing of Shad Gaspard, because there's nothing great about that. That completely sucks.
Right.
My bad has to do with my tag team Mount Rushmore from last week.
Oh, really?
The powers that be over here at the studios brought to my attention an egregious error, an egregious oversight was made, because
Ladies and gentlemen, is adding the Young Bucks to his list.
And not quite. Not quite. Your boy queued up the Dark Side of the Ring episode about the Road Warriors. And watching that episode clued me in to the accomplishments of the Road Warriors that your boy forgot about. The hard living and all that's fine. That's why they call it the Dark Side of the Ring, folks. So I am going to correct an oversight. We are getting rid of the Hardy Boys, and we are replacing the Hardy Boys with the Road Warriors. And I want to humbly apologize to anyone out there in Wrestling with Eagles Land who I might have offended by leaving foolishly the Road Warriors off of my tag team Mount Rushmore. I have seen the light, and I am very sorry.
He's in grace. Brian's not a moron.
Patrick, you're not gonna like my bad.
Go for it.
So on AEW we had, believe it or not, my bad is on AEW. We had a promo. This is the go home show leading to a pay-per-view.
Right.
And we had a promo that was unbelievably hard to watch between Arn Anderson and Jake Roberts. It wasn't good. It was the epitome of bad. And I've been saying to other folks around me that what I said on Wednesday during the promo was, I don't need these old fogies on TV. We do not need Arn Anderson in the corner of Cody Rhodes. We do not need Jake the Snake Roberts in the corner of Lance Archer. I for damn sure don't need Arn Anderson promoting Jake the Snake Roberts about a match between Cody and Lance Archer. Arn and Jake should not be the guys in those chairs. Cody and Lance Archer should be the guys in those chairs. And it's ridiculous that they're doing things the way that they're doing them. I don't need them. You want Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake Roberts? That's fine. Let them stay behind the curtain and be the two best road agents this business has ever seen. But I don't need them on. And that's my bad. I don't need guys like Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake Roberts on TV pushing guys who can talk themselves anymore. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Fair enough. Well, let's go ahead and parlay that into an AEW discussion. We will not discuss. Go ahead, Brian.
If I may, because I've wanted to do this ugly for 2 weeks now, and hearing what RJ just said reminded me about it, and it has to do with one Jake the Snake Roberts. His comments last week about a woman's role in life.
Yeah.
1979 called and they want their promo back.
That was that was one of the moments where I turned to the wife and I said, I don't need this guy on TV.
Yeah. Because Jake brings a lot of good things to the microphone. He's got intensity, obviously. He's got, a history in the business. We know that his mind is a great wrestling mind. But like you said just now so eloquently, Cody and Lance can talk themselves. They can sell their own match, Or if you're going to have or if you're going to have Jake and Arn speak, tell them, okay, you got 90 seconds, or you have 60 seconds to get a bum mo in, if you will, but you're not going to go on for 5-6 minutes because that's when you stick your foot in your mouth, And I thought the comments last week were classless. I know you're out there to get heat. I understand that because Patrick talks all the time about heel 401, but that's the very definition of cheap heat. Let's denigrate women. That's the kind of heat we're not here for. So
cheap heat is heel 098. It's not even 101. It's a remedial class. Let's go ahead and talk some AEW because we do have a pay-per-view coming up tomorrow, Saturday. It is Double or Nothing, live from the sold-out Daly's place. And by sold out, I mean
you can't buy tickets to it.
You can't buy tickets.
I tried. They said, I'm sorry, sir, we can't sell your tickets to it.
Yeah. However,
that's my chance to sit in the front row. Not so much.
Yeah. However, we are going to try and get in tomorrow night with our phones in our hand, not wearing masks, and say that we can't put a mask on because we have a respiratory issue, and I can't tell you about it because of HIPAA. If you've seen those videos of all those Karens trying to do that crap in grocery stores, that's what I'm talking about. Mrs. Rant Mode On is also Nurse Rant Mode On, and I watching her watch those is like watching a dragon getting ready to melt something. It is terrifying. Anyway, moving right along. Hell of a pay-per-view coming up, RJ.
Absolutely, no doubt. It was a hell of a go-home show on Wednesday, too.
Damn Skippy. So let me ask you this. Of the matches we have on the card, aside from, are the tag titles on the line?
No.
All right. So we only have 2 title matches? Just
3.
Oh, Nyla Rose is defending?
Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida, no disqualification.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. All right. So aside from those 3 title matches, which we all expect all 3 of those championship matches to be good, Cody and Lance for the TNT title, Moxley and Brody Lee, and the aforementioned women's match, what on the card screams, yeah, this is going to be good?
If I have to pick one, I'll pick the Stadium Stampede match between the Inner Circle and the Elite with Matt Hardy. Especially since the go home of that at the end of Dynamite was so spectacular, with the Young Bucks coming back. They fight onto the football field, and the Young Bucks come back and return. And then in the middle of the fight, we have Hangman Page coming out of nowhere, running a 40-yard dash in cowboy boots to hit an amazing clothesline. And after the Elite fights off the Inner Circle and the Inner Circle's running away, and they pull that camera up, and it says the end zone says the Elite on it. We get that pose with Matt Hardy and Kenny and the Bucks with Hangman walking away in the tunnel. It was that whole shot. It's one of my favorite shots in television history, and the whole segment did an awful lot to build this match. I am very much looking forward to what guys like, just to name a few, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, can do when given an entire football stadium to work with.
Yeah. And let's also be honest, to throw in, also guys like Santana and Ortiz in there as well. That's going to be just crazy. That is going to be fun. And I have been very impressed with how they have shot those particular angles, especially the way they have used the football stadium on multiple occasions on Dynamite. I still think they're relying too heavily on Inner Circle versus Elite. Kind of like they're hanging their hat on that too much. Kind of like, hey, we're in the playoffs and we're going to throw our closer out there every night for, every night of the World Series and make him pitch 2 innings. And then, squeeze our butt cheeks real tight when he blows it in the eighth inning of the 7th game of the World Series. Aroldis Chapman. Sorry, but I had to go there because that's the one thing about the Cubs World Series run where I was just like, oh God, what are they doing? What are they doing?
But we figured it out and we got the job done, and now moving right along. The match I am most looking forward to.
God gave you guys a mulligan and you got a 17-minute rain delay.
Didn't need it. I still say we did, because that game was on earlier in the week. It was re-aired on the MLB network, and I sat down and I watched it. And Lovebird's like, "Oh, you're watching this game?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And the rain delay came, and she goes, "There was a rain delay," and I'm like, "Yes, there was, and there didn't need to be. We could have just kept on playing."
You know what else was on TV earlier this week? 2014 Auburn Alabama game.
Oh, and I bet you sat down and said, "Don't mind if I do."
Nah, don't mind if I do at all. And I got to be honest.
Still is sweet, yeah.
Shed a little tear because they, after Bourne Lundquist makes his call, they play the audio synced with the video from Rod Bramblett. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. This will never, ever, ever get old. Don't care. So, yeah, and again, I really have enjoyed the way they've shot that. I just hope that they're not putting all of their eggs in one basket with Elite and Inner Circle, because I think, and foreshadowing alert, I think it could be one of those missed opportunities that they could be doing so much more with, but they're not. So, to me, I wish they would delve deeper into this. By the way, we will be ending tonight's show with a Mount Rushmore discussion of wasted opportunities / wasted potential / missed opportunities.
True story.
Which is going to be an interesting conversation, because
I think all 3 of us kind of went in a different direction with it, so it should be fun.
Oh, we totally freaking did.
Brian, what match are you looking forward to on Double or Nothing?
I'm looking forward to this one because I can't take credit for the question that I'm going to ask as a result of saying this match because it came from Bleacher Report. They had a roundtable that was posted, where they make predictions and then ask questions about it. MJF versus Jungle Boy. Do you think MJF is more effective the more he wrestles or the less he wrestles?
Less.
I completely disagree.
Because they like 4 different guys took that question, like 2 answered one way and 2 answered the other way. Like he's in danger of just becoming not relevant if he doesn't wrestle, if all he does is talk, and the other 2 argue, well, yeah, he's one of the top heels in the company, and not wrestling lends him more credibility as a heel because, yeah, I'm better than you and you know it. Well, yeah, but you're not getting in the ring and wrestling. So, and there could be legitimate reasons for that. We don't know. I don't know what kind of injuries he's had or
he was in quarantine.
Huh?
He was in quarantine. He wasn't allowed to leave his state.
That's
he was
true.
in New Jersey. He was in Long Island.
Okay. But it raises an interesting point. How often is too often? For somebody to actually be an in-ring competition. I know that's what we want to see. I mean, that's the whole argument about Brock Lesnar. He's never there, that kind of thing. But MJF is, I think, on a different path here. He's obviously not the top guy. He's not the champion. So can he carve out a little niche for himself where he only wrestles once every month and a half or so and still gets that heat and gets all that negative reaction?
Yeah, I think it can because this generation of professional wrestling can heavily be influenced by very good promo work. And there's not too many people in this business globally better on the mic than MJF. I'm not a fan of him in the ring. His promos are damn good. I think he's serviceable in the ring.
He's much better than serviceable, and I will die on this hill.
Okay, fine.
Go for it.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman is possibly. I'm not saying he's spectacular. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's one of the best in the world. I am going to say that Maxwell Jacob Friedman is probably the most underrated in-ring competitor in wrestling today because of how high quality his mic skills are. His in-ring performance, his work rate, as they like to say, isn't equal to his rate on the mic. But he's so good on the mic, it's hard for him to be as good in the ring as he is on the microphone. And I think people, maybe without even knowing it, downgrade his in-ring skills because of how good he is on the microphone. The match that he had this week with Marco Stunt could have sucked, but it was amazing because of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He made that match amazing. There were multiple points in that match where he blew me away. And there have been multiple points when he was in MLW where I've been like, man, this kid can freaking go. It's the same kind of thing that you guys were just talking about with him not needing to wrestle. He doesn't need a high work rate. It's the same kind of deal. Like, he doesn't need to be big, flashy, I'm a great wrestler guy, because that's not who he is. But he 100% is capable of doing that.
Right. Just not having seen as much of his, I'm going to use a fancy word here, not having seen as much of his oeuvre, there
you go.
Watch the family show.
Yeah. Sorry. Apologies to all the kids listening and watching out there in Wrestling with Egos land. But not having seen as much of his matches as you have, RJ, and I'm sure you have too, Patrick. Again, he falls into the category of just guys that I don't know that much about, so I don't know what the skill set is. It's obvious there's a skill set there. I just don't know how far he's going to push it. And if he's in a position where his mic skills, say, have Cody and everyone saying you don't need to go out every week and put on a 45-minute, less is more with him than maybe is what we're saying. Okay, that was a curious question that I saw, so that's why I was going to, bring it up to the two of you and see what you thought.
Very good thought process. So let's go ahead, since we talked about other matches that we are looking forward to. Let's look at those 3 championship matches. How do you think they're going to pan out, RJ?
As far as Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida, I think it's going to be awesome, but I think in the end, Nyla Rose will end up retaining the championship. I think this is the beginning of a long title reign for her. As far as the TNT title, I hate Mike Tyson being there to present the championship. I can't stand it. I understand he was at Double or Nothing last year with me. But he's a huge fan of the product, and I understand that. He reached out to them, but I can't stand that. As far as the match goes, I expect a banger of a match between Cody and Lance Archer. Both guys can go. Both guys are very good with the in-ring psychology. I know I'm wearing a Cody shirt. If he wins, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Exactly.
And as far as the world title goes, again, I think this is the start of quite a long reign for Moxley. I see him beating Brody Lee, getting his property back, regaining his championship. I do want to throw in one more thing that isn't about those 3. The Casino Ladder match currently has 8 announced competitors, but there are 9 competitors. There's a mystery wrestler in the Casino Ladder match. I was talking with my buddy Kevin today. I'll give him a Twitter shout out. It's at KG2169 is his Twitter handle. We were discussing who we thought the 9th member of that match was going to be, and he brought up that he thinks it will be Swolverine Brian Cage. I think
Brian Cage isn't under contract with Impact anymore?
No, not anymore. And there were rumors about 2 months, maybe longer than 2 months now that I think about it, like 3.5 or 4 months ago, that he had been in negotiations with AEW, and there were rumors that he signed. Nobody denied it, but they didn't really put it out there that Brian Cage is All Elite. They didn't make it known that he had signed. But when asked about it, nobody would fully deny it. Now they've waited about 3.5 or 4 months since those rumors have passed, given everybody an opportunity to forget about that. And now here comes Brian Cage as the 9th member of the Double or Nothing Casino Ladder match. I think my buddy Kevin nailed it. He brought it up today, and I said, man, I think you're right. That's got to be who it is. They gave us time to forget about the rumors, and then they're going to bring him in.
Oh, my God. And
it'd be a huge get.
If you guys have not seen Brian Cage's work, I had never heard of Brian Cage until Impact. Holy crap.
I thought that dude was big. I had always seen pictures of him and been like, that is a massive dude. He calls himself Swolverine for a reason. Dude is huge. I swear to God, this is not supposed to be a humble brag. But when I was next to the stage at All In and he walked a foot away from me, that dude is so much bigger than I thought he was. You see him on TV and you think, man, that's a big dude. But when you are a foot away from him, that dude is massive.
Now, real quick, hang on. Before we get back into hang on, Brian. This will be worth it. This will be worth it, I promise. I think we had a little bit of audio difficulty earlier. RJ, when you were talking about last year's Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
What were you talking? We had some little.
I mentioned that Mike Tyson was there, and that I was also there.
Oh, you mean like this?
Oh my God!
So like that, right?
Like that, just like that. Yeah.
Just like that. Just like that. Okay, cool. Brian, what were you going to say?
I also put a dish of water out for Pharaoh when he came out, and Pharaoh got to drink out of the dish of water, and Pharaoh even autographed it for me. And oh my goodness.
Hey, I'm just, there was a reason that when we were looking for a new puppy, I told her that it had to be a husky. I'm just saying.
And there's also a reason this show is called Wrestling with Egos.
The handicap match for Brian now.
Oh. It always is, folks.
Anyway, what do you guys think about the 3 title matches?
Personally, I'm with you. I don't think under the no fans in attendance, I do not see how, even if you wanted to, you could put the championship on Brody Lee right now. And here's why. Brody Lee has yet to appear in front of an AEW audience. He has yet to cut a promo in front of them. We do not know if his shtick is going to go over like a fart in church or not.
That's true.
So okay, so hypothetically speaking, boys and girls, let's say that Brody Lee uses the Dark Order and he wins the championship tomorrow night at Double or Nothing. 2 months from now, hypothetically, 2 months from now, we're going to be able to go back to wrestling shows. We're going to be able to have live audiences. And Brody Lee is still the champion. And he's cutting promos, and the fans just aren't having it. Oops.
Houston, we have a problem.
We put the title on the wrong guy. Don't we look like jackasses? Ratings.
See, and that's the thing that part of me feels like the last thing you just said right there, ratings, the last word you just said. I feel like because of that specific thing, they wouldn't need to wait until they were in front of an audience to figure out they made it.
True.
If they put the belt on him and ratings start to drop, oh man, we messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Moxley absolutely wins. I don't know if it's a long title reign for him or not, but I think Moxley wins. I don't see how you can take the title off of Nyla Rose unless you build. You are going to have to do a hell of a build to get someone to take the title off of Nyla Rose. You can't just say, all right, it's going to be Big Swole and Nyla Rose for the title, and as like a one-off, hey, we're just going to do this, and it means something. You're going to have to build it up. Whether it be Britt Baker, which it may not be because she might be injured, Statlander, somebody else. I got a theory, though. It's going to be Kong when she comes back.
That's very likely.
When she comes back after filming the next season of Glow and whatever other project she's got going on, when she comes back to AEW, they'll repackage her, and it won't be the whole Nightmare Collective bull crap anymore. It's just going to be Kong, and it'll be Kong versus Nyla. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
And to quote a great philosopher, it would be insane if they put the TNT title on Cody Rhodes. I don't know who said that. Might have been this guy.
Oh my God!
Yes, I'm going to overuse the shit out of this footage today, whether you like it or not, boys and girls. Why? Because I just feel like placating RJ and just watch Brian squirm. Because you know why? This time, I'm not putting myself over. I'm being magnanimous. Look how magnanimous I am, boys and girls. For the record, I say how I mentioned look how magnanimous I am, and immediately one of the cats starts hairballing in the kitchen. So, yeah.
Oh,
Tough room.
tough room.
I don't see. I don't
Both
see either.
online in my own house.
I don't see either how you can take the titles off of John Moxley or Nyla right now for all the reasons you've mentioned. And even though it'd be nice to toss Cody a bone, because I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but he can't challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship right now.
What?
He can't. I'm sorry. I'll somebody get a chamois over to Patrick's been cleaning his couch up from the spittle he just sent all over it, but he can't.
What?
Bottles
Yeah,
empty.
they've been
I
saying
just want
that for that was breaking news this week on Dynamite. But you don't invest all the time that you've invested in Lance Archer and make him out to look an absolute killer the way you have, and then in the finals of this tournament that you've made up, give it to Cody, because Cody doesn't need it. I think, and this actually just came to me. I think Cody, what you might see from him the rest of the summer and the fall is some soul searching. I failed against, I failed going at for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I can't do that. I got to the finals of the TNT television title, and I can't do that now. Now what am I going to do? What good am I? That kind of thing. So maybe he does what Kenny did at the beginning of AEW television, where he eats a whole bunch of losses and all that kind of stuff. And then the announcer says, well, what's wrong with Cody? That might be a storyline worth pursuing. I don't know. And I don't know who you have him lose to, but that's more compelling than just Cody winning all the gold all the time.
Something else. Could it also possibly be a Cody heel turn?
Maybe. There's all kinds of ways you can go with it.
Here's something that scares me. Cody did an interview the other day where they were asking him about the TNT Championship. One of the things he mentioned was that he had not seen it personally himself, and that he hopes it doesn't leak, and that he wants to see it for the first time on the show. He also mentioned that they asked him about it being a mid-card championship, and he said that it is not a mid-card championship. It is not going to be like the workers' title. They're not going to have rankings for it. He mentioned in this interview that the TNT Championship exists because TNT Network wanted their own belt. That scares me. That scares me into thinking that this might be a TNT thing, and TNT isn't going to want Lance Archer holding that championship. They're going to want Cody Rhodes holding that championship. And if this is a TNT thing and they're the ones that are making the call on their own belt, to take Cody's words, Cody's going to win.
That's a mistake, I think.
See, here's the thing. Here's my thing. If that is all a shoot, then the entire belt is a mistake.
I agree.
For one simple reason. Name for me a heel that will actually hold it.
Right.
Cody will lose it to Kenny. Kenny will lose it to Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy will lose it to
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. Darby will lose it to Joey Janela. Joey will lose it back to Cody.
And then I'll pin Cody, and I'll become the TNT.
Brian Kriego will then pin Cody, and then Brian Kriego will be pinned by R-Truth. Because R-Truth got confused and went to the wrong damn show.
That's good stuff.
Do not deny me of my moment.
Hey, he wants his 24/7, 365 baby back ribs.
Yes.
European, North American, Transylvanian, Universal Light Heavyweight Buttermilk Championship.
Sucker.
He gonna be coming for you like Booker T coming for Hulk Hogan.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, moving right along. Anything else on Double or Nothing that we need to discuss, Mr. AEW apologist?
I will throw out that I think that the team formerly known as the Revival and now known as the Revolt will show up.
Has their no compete expired?
as far from what I read online, their no compete isn't a thing because they weren't fired per se. Like their contracts expired, so it's kind of a different deal.
Oh yeah, their contracts lapsed.
From what I read online, their contracts expired, so they don't have a non-compete.
Same with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy just did not resign.
So
and was on
if that's
AEW
true, if that's true, there is definitely an FTR sighting at Double or Nothing.
And what do I have to say about that, Brian?
Shut up and take my money.
Damn right.
Top guy.
Damn right. So let's go ahead and move into, do we want it homework now?
I say yes.
All right, homework time. RJ, class is yours, my friend.
I did. I assigned Cody and Kenny from Supercard of Honor 12. I was at this show too. Go ahead.
But we have no footage of this. God, what a match. First off, we are talking about a Kenny Omega match. During the point where Kenny Omega is truly becoming Kenny effing Omega. At this point, he could have had a match with John Cena at his absolute worst. That's bad to say because John Cena actually put on decent matches. He could have had a match with
Simon Dean.
Simon Dean, thank you very much. And it been a Dave Meltzer 95-star classic. And
This is why I love being a wrestling fan, man.
Yeah, Meltzer's also a friggin' idiot. Anyway, moving right along, you're also working this during the Bullet Club is Fine angle, which some of the best crap in wrestling during that particular year. Such a good build.
Absolutely.
Great spots in this match. This is where I really started looking at Cody like, yeah, this is what you should have been from the beginning, dude. Foreshadowing alert. I loved this match. I had never seen it, found it online, and was like, ooh, damn, this was good. So yeah, I give it a solid A-.
All I was able to find, and I know RJ, you had said hit me up for the
Honor
credentials and all that, and I forgot to do that. All I was able to find was an 18-minute highlight package on YouTube, and the fact that the highlight package was 18 minutes should tell you.
I was gonna say the match wasn't much longer than that.
No, match was like 22.
But it served its purpose. I from the minute I saw the guy in the bear costume, I'm like, okay, he's gonna figure in this match somehow. Because why are you gonna bring a giant bear down and not
Barry the business bear was around for a while. It was part of the whole Bullet Club is Fine thing.
Okay. Do you know? I'm sure you know because you were there. Who was in the costume?
Well, that night we never found out who was in the costume.
Well, then this whole discussion is null and void then because you don't know who was in the costume. So
we don't know who was that night, but it was eventually Kenny Omega.
Okay. Swerve.
Right.
It's like the Black Scorpion all over again.
Yeah. But I mean, the two guys, Cody and Kenny, obviously very smooth in the ring. I thought the chemistry, even in a chopped up highlight package, it was very evident. But the moves they were hitting on each other were stiff, and they were purposeful, and they were like, oh my goodness, how are you going to kick out of that? And the poetry of the Bucks ultimately costing Kenny the match at the end. The looks on their faces and everything like that. Oh my God, what have we done? That kind of thing. And Cody just with that smirk as he's getting the 1, 2, 3, and gets up and rolls out of the ring, and I just thought, everybody played their role to perfection. I'm going to give it a solid B plus only because I watched it in a vacuum. I don't know the build up to it and the aftermath and all that kind of stuff. So it gets a B plus for me. I probably would have given it a higher grade if I had watched the match itself, like from start to finish, without any cuts or anything like that. But based off of what I had to watch, B plus for me.
I'm going to use this opportunity to mention that picture was taken that day and is still my phone background 2.5 years later. I'm in a Team Kenny shirt and I got a bear hat on because Kenny had previously been Barry the Bear and beat up Cody. Kenny loved my hat, thought it was fantastic, laughed his butt off. This is actually a signed picture that I got that day. The match ends, right? I went into this going to New Orleans thinking I'm going to get to be there when this amazing, you mentioned how good the build was. I'm going to get to be there when Bullet Club explodes, when this reaches its crescendo, like when this pops off, like, you know what I mean? When this whole storyline is over, I'm going to get to be there for that.
When the mega powers explode.
There you go. There you go. And then the end of the match happens. And Matt and Nick try to kick Cody, who falls out of the way. Kenny takes the double super kick. Cody wins. The Young Bucks are in the ring. Can't believe that they just cost Kenny the match. I'm in the crowd. Angry. Legitimately angry. Because this storyline just didn't end. And I had to watch. I mean, viewers of the show know who I am. I had to watch the Young Bucks cost Kenny Omega a match right in front of my eyes. And we all know how good Cody's entrance music is.
Yeah.
Kingdom is one of the all-time greats in as far as wrestling entrance musics go.
Yeah.
And he wins the match, and the music starts, and my wife is sitting next to me, belting out the lyrics to Kingdom, while I am sitting there legitimately angry that Kenny Omega just got kicked in the face by his two best friends and lost that match. And in a "it's still real to me" moment, I screamed, "Do you want to walk home?" at her while she's singing Cody's music.
Still real to me, damn it.
I'm talking 3 rows of people turned around to look to see who just yelled that at somebody. And I was super embarrassed and slunked out in my chair. And there you go. All the time that was spent putting me over, one of my most embarrassing moments.
You know what? I have something, I have a response to that. And I can sum it up in 3 simple words. Take it away, RJ.
Oh my God!
Man, was I angry. I still have my Bullet Club Explodes t-shirt and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Mr. Kriego, I believe you're on the hook for the homework for next week.
Yes. And
so let's start to become the American dream just the rose.
We are just inches away from having dueling homework assignments. I'm going to give RJ the one that I have written down. I'm about to give you the greatest hits of Simon Dean. If you don't stop twisting the knife,
shutting up,
oh my God, and everything else. So
wait,
please,
greatest hits.
Yes. Sitting here.
Name one.
Well, we're gonna go deep into the WWE catalog to find them. Sitting here, keep putting people over at my expense. I'll tell you what, boy. All right.
Whoa.
No, we're not. Whoa. We're staying on point here. Here comes the homework.
Brian, have you met me?
Yes.
How
And that's why I'm
long
so
have I
perturbed.
been putting people over at your expense?
Got to stop sometime. Might as well be tonight.
Gotta stop somewhere. I was gonna try to do that line, that Rage Against the Machine line, but I completely forgot it. I want to go to bed.
Okay. So I'm taking you both back to the year 2017, since we were talking about tag team Mount Rushmores last week. And I think as soon as I say the event, you know where we're going with this. We're going back to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view from the year 2017.
Yep.
And we're going to go with the brilliant tag team Hell in a Cell match between the Usos and the New Day.
Hey, Brian.
I am all excited about this
Hey,
one.
Brian.
You were there?
You just did it to yourself again because I was at this show too.
Yeah, I was going to say you were there.
I have the ticket in my kitchen. I can go get it if you want.
No, that's totally fine. Just watch the match, people.
Very, very cool. You did it to yourself this time. It was in Detroit, by the way.
Watch the match.
Putting people over since 2019.
Thank you.
You get to berate me with questions after all of this. So.
All right. So,
that's true.
So we've got that. You guys want to do television time remaining, then finish it with the Mount Rushmore, or what do you guys want to do? I don't care.
RJ, what do you want to do? You want to do bar talk and then television time remaining, or the other way around?
I don't know. Let's do the Rushmores first.
All
okay.
right, Rushmore first. So we are talking about we all interpreted this different ways because we've used two different terms for this. The Mount Rushmore of either missed opportunities or wasted potential. Then again, they could be one and the same as well. So it was open to interpretation, and I think it's safe to say that we all went in very, very different angles. Trust me, we did.
Yeah.
So instead of going one at a time, how about we just do your Mount Rushmore and then move on to the next guy? So how about, since this was Brian's idea to begin with, RJ, you go first, I'll go next, and we'll let Brian close it.
All right. I decided to go in a direction that I knew neither one of you would go in. I went a Mount Rushmore of WWE developmental's missed opportunities. Guys that were in WWE developmental that they let get away. I had honorable mentions that aren't in AEW, but it turns out my whole Mount Rushmore is in AEW. Imagine that.
Figure. That is a shocking development. Get the breaking news lower third across the screen and all that other stuff.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I am an AEW apologist, believe it or not. I know that there are people out there, some possibly viewers of this show, that don't even know the guys on this list were ever even in WWE developmental. I'm spreading knowledge here, Professor.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Science.
So, the Mount Rushmore of WWE developmental's missed opportunities, for me, obviously, starts with the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, was in WWE developmental. He did not like the way that he was treated by Bill DeMott and other folks. He did not like the way they treated other people as well. He didn't like the way they ran their business. He requested his release, was released, went on to become the Kenny Omega that we know today. It took several years, obviously, and some grooming, but he ended up becoming the Kenny Omega that we know and love now. Luchasaurus, I'm sure some people don't know Luchasaurus, was actually in WWE developmental for a little while. His name was Judas Devlin in WWE developmental. Given his in-ring ability, I think it is okay to say that they missed the boat on that, gentleman.
Wasn't he in what was the precursor to wasn't he in OVW?
I think he was in FCW.
Oh, I could have sworn I thought he was in OV. How old is he?
I think you're right. He's about my age. He's like 30, 33 or 34, something like
All
that.
right, never mind. I thought he was in his 40s because I thought he was in OVW in a stable with Batista, who
You
was
might be
at that
right.
point the Leviathan.
You might be right. I think you're right. I think that was OVW. Either way, he falls on my Mount Rushmore of missed opportunities for WWE. I think they missed the boat on him. He's spectacular. I can't differentiate between Matt and Nick. You can't split them apart, so I put the Young Bucks both on there. They were in WWE developmental for a while. They're obviously a missed opportunity by WWE. There's actually a match that you can find on YouTube that's Matt Jackson versus The Big Show, and it's a travesty to anything professional wrestling. It's not good, but it's out there. There's they did other things too, but I think that's a huge missed opportunity for them. And then one person that is kind of under the radar that was in WWE, not under the radar now, but was under the radar then when he was in WWE developmental. That it was back in the 90s. In 1998, Christopher Daniels was actually in WWE developmental. And for folks that don't know, he was actually Dos of Los Conquistadors. When Edge and Christian were Los Conquistadors, Uno and Dos was Christopher Daniels.
Huh.
Really?
You can also throw in his SCU brethren, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, who were both also in WWE developmental. Christopher Daniels is the one that I chose as being the top of the three that is the biggest missed opportunity. But that is my Mount Rushmore of WWE developmental's missed opportunities: Kenny Omega, Luchasaurus, the Young Bucks, and Christopher Daniels.
Quite the pantheon.
I went with a combination of both. I went with a combination of missed opportunities, but my missed opportunities were what might have been. And my wasted opportunity and my wasted potential was just either you, yourself, or creative pissed everything away. It's like going to RJ's poker table and going all in on an ace high.
That doesn't work?
Something that dumb.
Don't do that.
That's what I've got. I will start with my two wasted potentials, and one of them you guys might find controversial. The one that's kind of obvious if you've been watching this show and you know how I feel about this particular wrestler, you know his name is about to come out of my mouth. Dolph Ziggler.
He's here to show the world.
I've heard that.
That he ain't shit. This is one of the most athletic guys that WWE has ever had. And he himself is too busy trying to be the Dollar General version of Shawn Michaels. And he does a crappy ass job of it. He could be so much more if he wasn't just trying to be a knockoff of Shawn Michaels. But he's not. There could be so much more he could do. Alas. My next one that is wasted potential. This is the controversial one. The Big Show.
I agree with that, actually.
Okay, I didn't know. You could have taken him and, WCW started it. And you could have said, WCW, this is our monster. WWE could have easily gone, this is our monster, and it's even worse now. And just had him run through everyone. And then you take an Austin or a Rock, and you build and build and build. And, Big Show has the backing of Vince and Shane, and it's just running roughshod over the entire company. and then you get that build. That is not only a missed opportunity and a wasted potential as far as creative, but also a missed opportunity of what could have been. I do have one that is 1,000,000%, and this is on the head of two different companies. A missed creative opportunity. This is both on the heads of the NWA/WCW and WWE, because neither one did what they could have done given the football known as the man called Sting. Yes, Sting was a multi-time WCW and NWA champion. He was the franchise of WCW. He was never booked as such. Sting was never, until the Crow, he was never the knight in shining armor. He was never the mother bleeping cavalry. You know, they could have turned him into, comparatively speaking, John Cena.
Absolutely.
Just, you know, this is the man. You know, he's our guy. Nope. They could have done what WWE did with The Undertaker with the Crow Sting. They did not. And my final one, I would probably have to say this is what could have been in the most epically perfect and beautiful form. What could have been? I have 3 letters for you. ECW. No explanation necessary. ECW with the right money management. I'm going to be honest. They would still be in business today.
Absolutely.
Paul was smart enough. Well, Paul was. I'm speaking of him in past tense. Paul Heyman was, is, and forever will be smart enough. He just couldn't manage money to save his life. If he would have taken on help sooner, AEW would not exist. Why? Because Cody, Kenny, and the Bucks would be working for Paul Heyman.
Right. I agree.
Let's just be honest. And AEW and RJ would be an ECW apologist. But then again, I probably would be too, because I was ECW hardcore, man. Brian,
Great.
what say you?
Before I give you my list, let me ask you a question.
Me or him?
Both of you.
Okay.
Let's say that the contracts that Sting had at the time was no issue, and Sting actually wanted to do business with Vince. Does he save the invasion angle?
No.
Absolutely.
No, he does not. You know why? Vince wouldn't have booked him worth of crap because he was a WCW guy. That's why
You're right. You're right.
That's why he went. Oh, now don't get me wrong. He only went 0-2 in WWE because he got his neck screwed up in that match at Night of Champions against Rollins with the buckle bomb. But he would have continued to be fodder for WWE guys because he was the WCW guy. And they could have done so much more with Sting, even at his age, than what they did.
Right.
So, no, in my opinion, I am, as a, if we're doing a Mount Rushmore of your favorite wrestlers, Sting and Undertaker are easily on my list. I got to think about the other two. Sting going to WWE and being a part of the invasion angle would have been damning to his career. The best thing he did was go to TNA.
Yeah.
Okay. So my list, I'm actually impressed that there's no duplication on any of our lists. This is going to be cool.
Nice.
3 of my people are the result of bad booking. 2, well, and 3 also, it's the result of self-inflicted. Like these people did it to themselves.
Yep.
And I would argue that Marty Jannetty is a combination of both.
Ping.
Marty Jannetty should have been booked in a different way upon the split, because you had something there when Shawn Michaels super kicked him and then threw him through the barbershop window. You had a rivalry ready-made.
Absolutely.
But through a combination of the life choices that Marty made and the short-sighted creative that you had at the time, it went nowhere. And Marty just became, laughing stock and, fodder for, jobbers and that kind of thing, and became a jobber himself ultimately. So he's my first one. Another guy that falls into that category would be Mr. Kennedy. Because of the decisions he made, and he was ready to have some kind of a push, winning the Money in the Bank, step into the mic with Triple H the way he did a couple of times, step into the mic with, any of the top people at the time. There's rumors that he was supposed to be Vince's illegitimate kid during that angle. There was rumors that he was supposed to be the anonymous Raw general manager, whatever you wanted, that kind of thing. But all that goes out the window when you're, when you fail a drug test. And from what I've read in other promotions that have given him a shot, he just hasn't met the standards, what you think he should meet. He's been underwhelming, to say the least.
Kennedy!
Yeah. Another guy that, I can't believe he wasn't bigger, because if you look at his body type, you think he should have been big, and maybe he was over pushed, and this is why. Ahmed Johnson is another wasted opportunity. That guy is in the Lashley Lesnar, mold of body type, like, the one that Vince can't get enough of him, that sort of thing. Maybe he was a victim of coming along at the wrong time. I know he wasn't that good on the microphone. I know he botched a lot in the ring, So again, it's a combination of poor creative and poor in-ring work with him.
Brian, on that one, from everything that I've read about Ahmed Johnson, it was simply the fact that he was dangerous in the ring.
Okay.
So it was self-inflicted because he just wasn't good.
It's been eons since I've watched that era, to see any kind of Ahmed Johnson matches to remember what was happening. But
good God, go back and watch 4 weeks worth of Monday Night Raw during that time period, and you'll see all you need to see about Ahmed Johnson, because dear sweet mother of God, it is a miracle with his version of a Tiger Driver that he did as his finish, that he didn't drop somebody on their head.
Remember when Goldust kissed him?
Yep.
Yes.
Dustin has been quoted as saying that when they got backstage, he thought Ahmed Johnson was going to murder him.
Yes.
My next one, I'm putting all on creative, because I truly don't think they knew what to do with him when they had him, and that's Evan Bourne.
Hell yeah.
Evan Bourne could have been so much more than just the spot guy in the opening match of Taboo Tuesday, or,
the guy taking the shooting star RKO.
Yes. And a lot of it was he came along at a time where they didn't know what to do with him. The Daniel Bryan thing hadn't happened yet. The Kofi Kingston thing hadn't happened yet. Evan Bourne very much, I thought, was in that mold of an underdog who could have, because he was getting pops from people. You watch an Evan Bourne match and the crowd's into it. I just don't know why it didn't translate to more than that.
He took one of the greatest RKOs of all time.
Yes, he did.
He's in the top two, that one and the Rollins one. But here, Brian, to counterpoint that, remember, Evan Bourne was tag team champions with another one of those guys you had mentioned, Kofi.
Yes.
Do you have any more? Because I have an honorable mention that I forgot to mention. You got one more. All right.
One more.
One more.
I'm actually surprised that neither one of you mentioned this guy, but my name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And I put this totally on Enzo because, it's been documented how many chances he was given and how much faith was put in him and Big Cass by developmental. Enzo just thought he was the shit, for lack of a better term. And clearly he wasn't, and the gimmick wore thin. So I put this one totally on Enzo. And we see how radioactive he is now. So that's a missed opportunity of cataclysmic proportions totally on Enzo.
Enzo also couldn't work in the ring. Enzo, just like with Ahmed Johnson couldn't keep the other guy safe. Enzo couldn't keep himself safe. He was supposed to do that spot in that match against the Vaudevillains where he was supposed to slide under the bottom rope and ended up hitting himself in the head on the bottom rope and knocked himself cold the F out.
Forgot all about that. But
so Enzo was a danger to himself because he was so ill prepared.
Yeah.
My honorable mention also didn't get mentioned. And I always struggled with this guy or ECW. Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, for sure.
Who were your other four? I have Dolph, Big Show, Sting, and ECW. Did you give four? Did you give five or only four?
Me?
Well, it would be four because it's the Mount Rushmore. Never mind.
Right. So there's four, and then I wanted to include my honorable mention after everybody was done because I really couldn't decide between ECW or Shelton Benjamin, and I literally made kind of like did the coin flip in my head as I got to number four.
I have this down as a bar talk and not a Mount Rushmore, so that's why I have five in my head, but it's okay.
Whatever. Anybody got an idea for next week? Because I think I've got one if nobody else has got anything.
I know I don't.
RJ?
Oh,
How about our Mount Rushmore? Because I like these Mount Rushmore discussions.
me too.
Our Mount Rushmore of rivalries.
Well, I'm going to need 3 Mount Rushmore sites for this one.
I am giving you a asterisk on this one.
Okay.
You can't use the same person in multiple rivalries.
That's fair.
So, for example, if you use Flair and Steamboat, you can't use Flair and Sting.
Okay, so there has to be 8 different people on this Mount Rushmore, technically. Okay.
RJ, do you think that's fair, or is that a little bit?
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't have a problem with it.
It immediately cut mine from 3 to 2, though. That I first thought of.
Well, yeah.
But that's fine. That's cool.
Oh, hey, it cuts mine a lot, but it cuts mine a lot too because I'm like, well, I've got multiple. I can have multiple ones with Flair.
Yeah, Flair and Sting, Flair and Dusty, Flair and Steamboat. Like, there's so many.
Oh my God, yeah. So
Flair versus Steamboat, Funk, Dusty.
No, I didn't even say it.
Done.
yeah. I mean, and also this.
Yeah, 4 times. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, you're gonna get Flair in here somewhere. You're gonna get Shawn in here somewhere. You're probably gonna get Triple H in here somewhere. just in terms of, just think about the greatest rivalries of all time, but we can only mention a guy once. So like we have to take the okay, Flair. What's the best rivalry Flair had? Exactly. So it's gonna be an interesting one. Well, as you guys have already figured it out by now, we have totally gone over our allotted television time.
Just by a
Hashtag don't care. We own the network. We can do whatever the hell we want. So this week, we end the show like we always do with television time remaining. This week, it's rapid fire questions from RJ, directed to the guy in the red shirt and the brick wall. What? I'm wrong?
Other way around, sir.
Oh, it's Brian. It's the gentleman in the red shirt and the brick wall, Brian, directing questions to the AEW. Oh, that's right, because it's Brian to RJ, RJ to me to Brian, and then we flip it. Right. My bad.
Thanks for coming to the production meeting.
Hey, he said at the beginning there was no format, so
It's
No
fine.
format, and I'm tired. And for the record, damn it, I was at the production meeting. I was just asleep. Hey,
We know we were throwing peanut shells at you.
yeah. Is that why I'm itching? Damn.
Yep. Yeah.
Whoever got one back here, that's a good shot.
I think that was RJ.
Already get you guys just pull the back of my shirt and just go
Up and over.
up.
that's what we should have done.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Brian, are you ready?
Of course I am.
RJ, are you ready?
Absolutely.
And go.
What wrestler would you love to film a Last Dance style documentary on?
The Undertaker.
Okay. What game show would you love to appear on?
I'm gonna say The Price is Right, just because I watch it almost every day.
Okay. If you started your own promotion, who was the first wrestler you would sign?
Kenny Omega.
Duh.
What vegetable do you refuse to eat?
Most of them. Cauliflower.
Okay. That's clutch. I like that. From any promotion, what storyline would you love the chance to do over and write your own way?
Believe it or not, Triple H and Austin.
Okay. Country you love to visit.
Germany.
And finally, finisher you'd hate to have applied to you.
Cattle mutilation.
Can you explain that?
Daniel Bryan does it. I don't remember what they call it now. What do they call it now?
Oh, is that the one? Is that the surfboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what they call it now though.
His curb stomp.
But it used to be cattle mutilation, and they don't let him use that in WWE.
Isn't that the one where he gets him in the surfboard and then he just stomps their head?
What do they call it now?
Hold on a second. Our crack staff is looking up the
Yeah.
instructions for applying the hold.
You know what? I can't even find what they're calling it now.
Well, they're looking it up. I'd love to take the
King
time
Crab
to.
double chicken wing.
What was that?
A bridging grounded double chicken wing. Double chicken wing.
Okay. That does sound painful.
Yeah, there it is.
You literally went to the exact same match I was.
It's the first one that popped up.
The one with the Miz.
Yeah.
But say, because I initially thought it was the surfboard stomp, and I'm like, that's Candice LeRae's finisher now.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Wicked Stepsister. Cool name, by the way. Still like it.
Absolutely.
So
Just realized also that we haven't plugged the socials yet, so I'll do that right now really quick. If you want to reach out to us on Twitter, you can do that. RJE Man with 2 N's. Patrick can be reached at Rant Mode On. Go figure. And I can be reached at bcrigo15, and you can join the conversation at Wrestling with Egos bit.ly@gmail.com. We thank all of you that do that on a regular basis. Check out the Google repository at bit.ly/withegos. It's got all the homework, the most recent 8 or 10 episodes, if you will, along with some other nice tidbits and morsels and stuff like that. And we thank you, as always, for joining us.
Tidbits, morsels, accoutrement.
Yeah, accoutrement.
Boards, Farfignuggins.
Yep.
And Dumbledores.
Yes.
Hey,
know. Double or Nothing, Saturday night. Watch it. Gonna be good. Gonna be a good shoe.
Gonna be good. Well, on that note, any final thoughts, gentlemen?
That was my final thought. Watch Double or Nothing.
All right. Well, till next week. There's Brian. There's RJ. I'm Patrick. Good night. That's our story. We're sticking to it. This is Big Wrestling with Egos. I'm going to bed.
Somebody get him a blankie.
Watching
on his couch.
What the hell are you guys doing watching me? Seriously, go the hell away. I'm trying to get some sleep. I'm tired, damn it.
Well, you could stop recording at any point.
Oh, yeah.